Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Root to Rise Seeds for the Soul. I'm your host, Meg, and today I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to do just a little solo episode, and it's been a little bit since I recorded, so I thought, why wait for a guest when I could just have a conversation with myself? So the inspiration for this solo episode comes from this weekend that I spent at Kripalu Yoga Retreat Center in Massachusetts, up in the Berkshires. And I got a gift card to Kripalu about a year ago for Christmas, and I had been putting it off going. I knew that I wanted to go by myself. I just didn't really feel called to go. And I interviewed the amazing Dr. Mark Grossman on a Friday, and it turns out the following Friday he was doing a vision workshop at Kripalu. So I thought to myself, I had this gift card. I just interviewed this amazing guest, and I have the opportunity to meet him in person, to grant his wisdom, and spend some time with people who are similarly interested about natural eye care. So I booked my trip and off I went. And I would consider myself a pretty outgoing and adventurous person. And I knew that when I went to Kripalu, I wanted to be very intentional and turn off my phone, completely disconnect. I have been for the past, 6 months, maybe a year. It's been a while. I have felt very trapped inside my mind, tethered to my phone, tethered to my computer. And even with this podcast, which is something that is meant to be fun for me to connect with people that inspire me and to share those conversations with other people whom they may inspire also, I've found that I have taken the automatic approach to this podcast as something I need to do and something that I'm striving to create. And I've been consuming so much information from books to try to create content for the podcast, and it just hasn't felt that fun. The most fun part is when I actually get to have conversations with these people that I find so inspiring. So, anyways, back to the moral of the story. So, I knew that my time at Kripalu would need to be a time where I was very intentional to be present, to disconnect, and to just be by myself and allow myself to just feel inspired. And that is what I did. So I got to Kripalu, I checked in, I put my phone on airplane mode, and immediately I just noticed how uneasy I felt in my own skin and with my own company. And I'd like to say that as the weekend went on, this feeling went away. However, it did not. The time that I felt the most comfortable, which I could have anticipated, was when I was in the workshop, the blocks of time that I was in the workshop, because there was a level of familiarity there. However, the rest of the time, I was just feeling so deeply uncomfortable being seen and being in this place that I had never been, surrounded by people that I had never met. And it got me thinking about how important it is to really take the time to put yourself outside of your comfort zone. And it's so easy to go about daily life and not notice the discomfort because we're surrounded by people we know, in our homes, secluded, or going to the same stores, or going to work, or going to class, or, taking the same yoga teachers, whatever it may be. And just spending an entire weekend with this feeling made me recognize how much more cognizant I would like to be about the ways in which I engage in my everyday activities. So for me, this might look like going to yoga without my phone. And I don't typically bring my phone into the yoga room anyways. However, I do rationalize bringing my phone with me in the car. I don't need it for the GPS. I know the way to the yoga studio. However, I use the rationalization of, oh, well, I want to play my music, or, oh, what if somebody needs me, or, oh, I'll just bring it just in case. And we all do this. We all have convinced ourselves that we need our phones to function in our daily life, when the truth is we just don't. We don't need the things that we think we need. We have just become so comfortable using them. And, another thing that maybe would be beneficial is to go try a different yoga studio, or go to a different grocery store and do it without your phone. Or maybe you go to a different restaurant and you don't have a glass of wine to take the edge off. You just notice, how do you feel when you're in an unfamiliar setting? And for me, the feeling was so loud. The thoughts were so loud. And I need to pay attention to that. And I could just let that weekend pass me by and not give a second thought to the feeling. And that would be a disservice to the effort that I put in this weekend to spend time with myself, to disconnect, to make a choice that felt difficult for an extended period of time. So anyways, this weekend, it got me thinking about how this feeling of discomfort must be here more often than I recognize. And I think it's so important to make commitments to yourself and keep them. It would have been so easy for me to go on this retreat and tell myself, oh, I'm not going to use my phone all weekend. And then, I was there by myself. I had nobody to hold me accountable. It was just me. And nobody else would have cared if I'd used my phone. However, that's not the point. The point is that I made a commitment to myself. I had a challenge for myself that I wanted to complete. And if I had just succumbed to this discomfort and used my phone, I wouldn't have gained this incredibly valuable knowledge that I now have of the need to foster a deeper relationship with myself where I can feel safe and feel comfortable with myself no matter what the situation is, no matter where I am. And something that might apply, which I see a lot, and I have had friends that do this as well. And as somebody who has been alcohol free for over 2 years now, it's been quite a while. And I see this happen a lot when people do dry January. And I have some friends and I've seen people who say they're going to do the dry January, and then next thing you know, there's an asterisk. Well, I'm going to allow myself to do this and have this drink for this certain occasion. And I understand how addictive these substances are. I understand how addictive our phones are. And with that being said, you are shortchanging yourself and this knowledge that you can gain for yourself. You are succumbing to the discomfort. And that discomfort doesn't go away just because you have the drink or just because you pick up your phone and scroll on Instagram or because you smoke a joint. I don't know. I don't smoke weed, but it's like our culture has become so obsessed with numbing out and binging on whatever your substance of choice is. And I just see the way people rationalize their use of whatever your substance of choice may be. And honestly, it's not okay. It's not okay that we're doing this. And I'm not trying to say this from a judgmental place because, like I said, I do it too. It can be with things that even seem like they're beneficial. For example, I read a lot. And yeah, that's not hurting anyone. It's not necessarily hurting me. However, when I look at the fact of using reading as a distraction and as a way to avoid living my current life, I can see how something I'm doing, I can rationalize to avoid looking at what I'm avoiding. So, yeah, I think I'm just so tired of all of us just rationalizing these shit ways of being. And I don't think it's funny. I don't think, haha, whatever, I'm just addicted to my phone, or haha, whatever, like I just like to drink a little too much, or like it's not okay. It's not normal. It's not funny. And it's impacting you. It's impacting your life. It's impacting the people around you. It's impacting the quality of your relationship with others because you have no relationship with yourself. And so at the end of the day, I would just encourage people, if you find yourself rationalizing behavior, take a second and think about that rationalization and think about the hold that whatever it is has on you, that it's requiring you to rationalize why you're doing it. Because if something is aligned with your soul and if something is calling to you authentically and you feel so secure in doing something, you will never feel the need to rationalize it. So, yeah, I didn't really know where this was going to go until I got on here. And I'm sure there are ways that I could say these things more eloquently. However, in the spirit of doing things messy, I'm just going to release this. And if you have a problem with anything I said, I would love to open it up to conversation. You can Instagram, DM me. That's probably the easiest way to converse with me. Or you can send me an email at my email address, which is root2awaken@gmail.com. But yeah, I just really, I would say if you start to rationalize something, check in with yourself and see if you can go without doing whatever it is that you're rationalizing. Because Mark Groves talks about this concept a lot of if you don't have access to your choice when you're in a relationship with something, if you don't have the ability to say no to something, then you are choiceless in that relationship and it's not a healthy relationship. And I'm paraphrasing, he says things a lot more eloquently. But yeah, I in this year, I just want us to just cut the bullshit. Cut the bullshit. I don't want to be spewing bullshit into the universe. I don't want people to be spewing their bullshit back to me. And we all do it. So thanks for listening. And if this resonates with you, great. If it doesn't resonate with you, move it along. It doesn't have to. And yeah, much love to you all. And I hope to see you back here next week.